Hello and welcome to the Alchemist Inkwell.
This is your spiritual podcast for grounded people.
I'm Emily.
I'm KristaLyn, and I'm really, really, really excited because one of my favorite people in the entire world is here. I am so pleased to announce that we are welcoming James Lamar, who is basically my brother, to this podcast. Hi, James.
Hello, hello, everyone. Greetings. Yes, I am James Lamar. I am a certified sound practitioner. I consider myself Pennsylvania's traveling sound therapist, but I'm also a singer and a songwriter and a musician and just overall light worker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the lightiest of the light workers as well. So do you mind if I
I
share a
can't
little bit
wait
of
for
listen, I'm stoked, okay? Do you mind if I share how we met, James?
Please, I think this will give
Good.
great context.
Okay.
So go right ahead.
So not only is James the most qualified, talented, and skilled sound healer I know, but I
Mhm.
happen to have met James before all of this. And it was when we were show people together at a local amusement park. We were dance partners doing a song and dance show 4 or 5 times a day with parades called Retro Rock. Um, so we sang like your 50, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s hits together, starting out in like I had to start out in a poodle skirt, ended up in a Dream Girls outfit. And James, my favorite thing is we did this one where the leader of the pack was one of the songs, and James got to be the character of that on a tricycle. And on the days where the soloist for leader of the pack was sick, I would take over. So sometimes I got to sing that with James, and it was some of my favorite stuff. But James and I have been really close since then. It was amazing, and it's so good to know you. And you were
Oh,
an amazing singer back then as you are today.
thank you. Yes,
Mm,
I'm so grateful that life brought us together in that
yeah.
way, which is interesting because I was even going to speak on that in this interview. But since we're kind of talking about this now, Krista, I really have you to thank for introducing me to this realm. I think you were one of the first people that I've met that were so tuned in to energy, and you were able to see beyond this three-dimensional realm. And I think you were a very big mentor of mine. You taught me about the chakras. You taught me about meditation, and it was still such a seed that was being planted where I didn't fully understand it when we were in that time and space when we're performers. I think I was
Mhm.
very much of the mindset of, oh, I want to be famous, for the glorification of myself and my ego, and probably some of my psychological development and insecurities, and
Mhm.
learning that path, that desire for stardom was so much bigger than what I thought. Like, it was a lot of psychological as well. I think it was coming from a that inner child trauma too, of attention seeking, and wanting to be liked by everyone, right? Which we see that doesn't even exist with celebrities. You could be the most popular famous celebrity and people are going to hate on you, right? It's that
Mhm.
Mhm.
duality. So yeah, I want to say thank you for introducing me to this world, because if it weren't for you, I don't know if I'd be here today. So you've been a very pivotal part of my journey, and I'm so grateful to know you and still be connected.
It is an honor to have been part of your journey, because thank all that is holy and whatever creator energy anybody connects with, that you are here today. You are such a blessing to everybody that you play for, that you talk to. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm very honored and grateful to be here.
Yeah.
Yes, this is
On that
wonderful. Thank you
note,
for having me.
Yeah. So
right, what led you, so with that in mind, like why sound healing? Like what brought you there? What are your feelings around sound healing in that sort of way? What about it speaks to you?
Yeah, so I think Krista can attest to this because she's kind of been here since my journey. When we met, I was still in that place of seeking stardom, but even in this place of wanting to be a star, wanting to be a celebrity, there was always this message behind it. Like,
Mhm.
I always wanted to create music that that had a positive message behind it. So I think when I was 18 or 19 years old, I recorded a demo with a couple of songs, and one of them was like this super inspirational song. One was about love, but then one was like another, like almost gospel kind of like fast dance song, Alive and Free. I think Krista
Mm-hmm.
remembers that one. That was Krista's
Yep.
favorite from
Yep.
that little demo CD project. But so I've always just had this mission of, if I'm gonna make music, I want to release music that has a positive vibration attached to it. I don't want
Hmm.
to harm anyone with sound vibration. And I didn't even fully know what that meant back then. I just knew I wanted to sing songs that inspire people to be the best versions of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so from there, I moved to Los Angeles and continued to work in the industry and in various ways. Like I even worked in television and film for a little bit, being a background actor, a production assistant. And I had so many dreams in between this space of like wanting to be a famous singer, but then also wanting to be a famous actor and develop TV shows and just really be this pivotal member of the entertainment industry. And then being in Los Angeles, you kind of learn some of the
Mm-hmm.
horrors of what's going on in the entertainment industry. And just on a grand scale, seeing how much influence they have, and unfortunately, in a negative way, and how
Mm-hmm.
they're utilizing media to release these vibrations that are not great for people, to keep them stuck in certain cycles, keep the culture perpetuating this negativity. And that's more so specific to, like, you look at BET and Black Entertainment Television and what they're doing there. Like most of my community are Black and brown lives because of where I grew up and went to school for underprivileged kids. So they've always just kind of been in my vicinity, and that's most of my community. So I speak a lot about them because that was my upbringing and it's most of my friends. So just seeing like the perpetuation of, these songs where they're talking about drugs and they're talking about, sex and objectifying women, and seeing that that is being pushed from these
Mm-hmm.
older white men that are in at the top of these record labels, pushing that into these cultures to perpetuate these cycles, to keep the vibration of humanity down, or these certain groups of
Mm-hmm.
people, which, yes, they're directly impacting Black and brown lives, but at the core of it, it's really systemic. And it's like
Yeah.
all of us that are the 99% that don't fit in that 1%, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very long-winded way of saying that it's always just been my mission to to heal and inspire with music. And when I found out that there were instruments out there that did that already, like the singing bowls and the gongs, I was like, whoa, if I can be a part of this movement to use sound and music to truly heal people, I
Mm-hmm.
am so in. Let's do this. So I was living in
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles, went to a couple sound baths and really just fell in love with it, and took a certification course with Anna Natano of Shakti Sound Bath. She is incredible, and she's basically like a celebrity sound healer. She's done it for so many different celebrities in Los Angeles, and she has like over 100 people that come to all of her events, like all the time. She's really great. Her experiences are like massive. So there's multiple healers surrounding the room. So you're almost being in this like surround sound live sound bath concert where
Mm-hmm.
you're surrounded by these frequencies. And yeah, anyway, so I got certified and
Yeah.
have been on this journey since of figuring out, and I'm still kind of figuring out how I'm going to utilize these instruments with my other talents,
Mm-hmm.
with my singing, which I kind of put on the back burner for a while because I didn't want to come from this place of singing to impress people. And I still find myself battling that because I think
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, if you're going to be a singer and that's going to be your living, right? You do have to impress people because they're
Mm-hmm.
going to be the one buying your music, coming to your shows, right? But it's shifting into this place of, no, the vocal vibration that I have to offer, the vocal vibration that I was gifted with has power and
Mm-hmm.
can be used in this way that can help people to connect with themselves on a more deeper, more soul level. The vocal vibration I offer can assist with people's healing journeys,
Mm-hmm.
especially when paired with these instruments that are behind me, but you can't see them right now, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just trying to figure out that that way in which I'm going to be delivering these sounds. I already do. I've been doing sound baths all across the state of Pennsylvania and beyond, but
Hmm.
figuring out how I'm going to continue to utilize these sound frequencies with the mission that I've specifically been given to use my musical talents and my intention that has always been there to inspire and create
Hmm.
space for people's healing process.
Hmm. Yeah, so
Beautiful.
I was gonna say a most amazing way to tell that story. And then so you talk about vocal vibrations and the vibrations from the bowls facilitating healing. And I've heard you explain this and I love the way you do it. So when you explain to someone how or why sound healing is useful or how it works, how would you describe that?
Okay, so I have to say this first and foremost. I do not prefer to call this sound healing, only because I feel like there's certain connotations with it, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Even when I was featured on a news segment,
Hmm.
the reporter was calling me a sound healer, and I'm just like, hey, can we maybe just switch to sound therapist?
Oh,
Just
okay.
because we're reaching the masses here, and you're gonna have these people that are, non-believers and are gonna call it occult, new age. This goes
Hmm.
against the Bible. This is a part of the new world order, like certain things
Hmm.
like this, right? So as someone who really wants to be relatable and be human, because I feel like that's going to allow others to be attracted to you rather than picturing myself to be this guru, which I am not. I'm sure doing my practices and doing all I can to be of service in this way and clearing out what no longer serves me so I can be a clear vessel for those. I'm still not a guru. I'm still having
Hmm.
to deal with life. I still live next to a super busy street, which when I play, we might hear some cars go by. Like I'm not a guru on the mountaintop. Could be cool, but that's not my path right now.
Yeah.
It's totally not my path at this point. So I say all this to say that I prefer the term sound therapy and seeing
Hmm.
these sounds as more therapeutic, so people don't think that we're claiming sounds and vibrations can heal cancer and cure these different diseases. Like, I'm very open and honest about my journey. I'm personally HIV positive. I don't want people to think that these sounds are going to cure HIV
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
as we know it right now, they can't. But
Hmm.
they're an incredible tool that allow us to access these places within our body where our natural healing systems can be activated. So what I
Hmm.
usually say when I introduce the sound bath, especially for those that have never been to one and they're like, what did I just sign up for? What did my friend just bring me to? I tell them that it's an acoustic relaxation experience that utilizes various instruments that help to induce the relaxation response. So, what they found in different scientific studies is that the frequencies and vibrations produced by crystal singing bowls and the traditional Himalayan singing bowls, it helps to slow our brainwave activity. So we can access alpha and theta, these deep, relaxed, meditative states of consciousness, helping both our body and our mind to
Hmm.
rest simultaneously. And in that state of rest, that is where our natural healing systems are able to be activated. So that's like a holistic healing way to break it down. But that's almost, you know, uh, speaking on the physical, right? Like it's
Hmm.
creating that space for the body to heal physically. But then what also is occurring is these sound vibrations are literally bathing, well, people are bathing in these sound vibrations, and it encourages stillness, right? Like we said, it's encouraging rest, it's encouraging relaxation. But in this place of stillness, that's when some things that we've been neglecting and avoiding can come to surface because we're
Hmm.
giving ourselves that space to do nothing. We don't have a TV going, like, oh, some people
Hmm.
say, I'm gonna go relax and watch a movie. Yeah, it's relaxing, in a
Mhm.
sense, but you're not relaxing the mind. You might be relaxing the body as you're sinking into the couch, and it feels good, right? But
Mhm.
as we're watching this movie, our mind is alert, and the brainwaves are still pretty active as we're following the plot and seeing what's going on,
Mhm.
especially if it's a thriller or a horror,
Mhm.
right? You get that intense music, which again is a vibration that they've
Mhm.
been using to manipulate our emotions to make us feel some type of way for that film and what's going on, right? So
Mhm.
this gives us this opportunity to truly be still and allow these emotions and sometimes even traumas to come to surface for the sake of healing. But it's not
Mhm.
like these sound vibrations, once these emotions and traumas come up, that these sound vibrations automatically just heal. No,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it creates this space where people are invited to heal.
Mhm.
So I always encourage people, if you feel comfortable and you are on this path of taking ownership of your healing, now is the time to face whatever comes up for you in this session.
Mhm.
Sit with the discomfort. The more we avoid it, the more we suppress it, we'll never be able to heal, because the only way to get to the healing is through the feeling. So it's not enough for these things to come up. It's a matter of feeling and sitting with it and allowing
Mhm.
that energy, emotion is energy and motion, to move through the body the way that it was supposed to and designed to. So that way, as it moves, it can then release out of the body. But
Mhm.
I mean, we got to think of generations of people being brought up and taught that our emotions aren't valid. How many times do we hear, "Stop crying, get over it,"
Mhm.
and I don't think we should be blaming our parents, our caretakers. I think it's just been something that's been cycled down, and
Mhm.
we've learned that. But what a beautiful time it is to be alive, where mental health is at the forefront of discussion, and we can finally have our emotions validated in this space. And not just that, I think validating of the emotions is the first step. It's then, acknowledging, validating, and then giving yourself the space and the time to process
Yeah.
and feel and sit with it, which not everyone will have the tools necessary to do so. So I also tell people that this should never take place of traditional talk therapy. So if something does come up, especially people that have been, on battlefields, and people that were in the military and dealing with some serious PTSD, a sound bath might not help them. A sound bath
Mhm.
might actually trigger them. But then with that, what am I trying to say? So then with the intention of bringing those memories that came to surface and taking that to another professional, where they
Mhm.
can talk it out a little bit more, where this is more of a passive receptive offering, where you're just laying down and receiving the sounds. And some people do
Mhm.
have the tools, and they are able to sit and process their own emotions and traumas. But for those that don't, I just tell them, hey, look, you can seek out a therapist after this, and maybe this sound bath was meant for these things to come up for you tonight, so you can then take it to another professional and work
Yeah.
through it in this more traditional way, if that's what people
Mhm.
resonate with the most.
Yeah.
It's such a healthy way. Like it's such a healthy approach to sound
Yeah.
healing. And I mean it in the sound healing way of like I agree fully wholeheartedly with
Sound
everything you're saying as
therapy.
far as like, huh?
Sound therapy way.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
I
no,
mean,
I'm
it's
talking
fine. You
about it
could
in the
say
healing
both:
way.
sound healing,
No,
sound
Okay.
therapy.
Okay.
so my point is actually about it in the healing way that
Okay.
it is a prompting invitation to healing. I think that's a really healthy way to engage with it. And the presenting it, yes, it is the sound
Mhm.
therapy space, but having it like people understand that um sometimes healing is just prompts is a really cool way to
Mhm.
frame that. And I really
Yeah.
appreciate that in general. And yeah, we absolutely can dive into it in a sound therapy sort of space because I think that that's very helpful. And having been around, a lot of sound healing type communities and new age communities and whatever for a really long time, it's nice to have it actually framed in a lot more grounded of an
Mhm.
aspect there and less of a like mystical things that will fix you because
Yeah.
that's not great.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is
Yeah.
how well structured your explanation is. You bring
Hmm.
in research that we are aware of. You acknowledge the body's more um, perhaps undiscovered or unresearched ability to tap into itself, and you acknowledge that as a reality, which I think is really important for people to be able to understand their own power, their own ability to do these things with themselves, and to use tools to facilitate that, just like we do with intuition. Sometimes your intuition is amazing and you don't need any help, but sometimes tarot or astrology or whatever facilitates your own intuition to be able to work.
Mhm.
um, but you explain it so well. You acknowledge all sides of it. Like, you can tell this is a passion of yours that you have thought about so thoroughly. And
Mhm.
I want to just appreciate again that you've done that much thinking. And again, this is you are the type of practitioner that I would feel trust going to experience, because I like people who know what they're doing. I like people who have
Mhm.
Mhm.
thought about it and are passionate about it and are clearly called to it, which it certainly sounds like you have this calling and you have responded.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I truly feel that way also, that this is a calling. I love it, and I will never stop being a student because this is still so new, and I want to be on the cutting edge science and being able
Mhm,
to
Mhm.
facilitate for these studies and see what all it can do, because we're just now tapping in to like what it can do for our brainwave activity, but what about everything else? There's still
mhm,
so much that we don't know yet. So as more studies come out, like I am constantly keeping up to date with what we're finding, because
mhm,
I feel like it's my duty as someone in this field, but also with the mission and intention that I have more specifically. I come to this practice as a musician,
mhm,
Yeah.
where I think most people come to this practice as another tool in their toolbox to
Mhm.
assist, which is great. However,
mhm,
anyone comes to this practice is beautiful. But I think what really makes me stand out in this growing field is my musical knowledge, and the fact that
Mhm.
I truly use these instruments as musical tools.
mhm,
Since I've seen y'all last live and
mhm,
in
Yeah.
person, I've
Mhm.
expanded my collection. So I normally was going around with the seven crystal singing bowl set, which is tuned to the chakras, the energy chakras, but according to the Vedic philosophy.
mhm,
So
Mhm.
there are other philosophies around the world, and I know Egyptian specifically, that says that the notes of the chakras are different than what the Vedic philosophy is stating. So,
mhm,
because there's so much information that doesn't quite meet in the middle, I never like claim that um,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a chakra alignment, but it very well
mhm,
could, because maybe the Vedics were right, or maybe the Egyptians were right. It's so
mhm,
hard to tell, because especially with energy like the chakras, science hasn't been able to get to that point just yet.
mhm.
So I think there's still a lot left to be done in that realm, the energetic realm. Um, but again, I say all this to say that I've expanded my collection. So now I have access to all of the notes, where those seven notes are in, if you imagine like a piano,
Mhm,
if anyone that's ever taken piano before, like middle C is usually that key
Mhm.
that's right in the middle of the piano. And that's the root chakra in with the crystal singing bowls, but this is tuned to 432 hertz, because they say that that vibration is in alignment with universe and nature.
mhm,
So
Mhm.
there's the middle C, and then it goes up to B, which is right before, it's a note before high C. So I pretty much had the white keys going up the scale,
Mhm.
but I didn't have like that final note, like the do
yeah,
re mi fa sol la ti. It stopped at
yeah.
T, but I wanted to have my do. So, so I could complete the octave. So
Yeah.
got another singing bowl to complete my octave, which is not traditional. Most people just carry around the seven for the chakras. And then there were the black keys on the piano that I didn't
Mhm,
have access to, right? So
yeah.
Mhm.
I I got those bowls as well. So now at this point, I can truly um, make music
So you can play in
with
any
these
key.
bowls in any
Yeah.
key, any chord in any key, to
Mm,
whatever song, you know?
I love that. Oh
Yeah,
mhm,
my
so it's like
God, that's a cool
yeah.
approach to it.
And I know, like,
yes,
So
you've
thank
been
cool.
you.
incorporating singing into it as well. I saw a clip of yours on your
Yes,
social media at I am James Lamar, correct?
yes.
That you were doing Silent Night around Christmas time.
So I am, like I said, I'm still figuring out how I'm gonna incorporate all of my musical talents into this. You know, when I
Hmm.
first got the bowls, it was kind of weird to sing with them. Like it almost didn't feel right. Like it felt funny. Like I'm just like, maybe we're not meant to sing with these bowls. Like just something, especially the crystal ones, like more of the
Mm,
handheld ones. Those ones I feel like I could sing with better, but the crystal ones, there's just such powerful energy that I almost just kind of felt like, ooh, who am I to be singing with these magical beings,
mm,
these crystal singing bowls? But yeah, so I have since been singing with them, and usually during my practice, I'll do like some affirmations and sing, different affirmations like, you are protected, you are safe, you are loved, and I'm singing these with the bowls. I also have this mini song where it's like, may you find your peace, and I'm singing that,
mm,
or I'll just do oohs, just really with a very soothing tone up into the falsetto and then come back down. Just again, just remaining in that very soothing place of using my voice to complement the bowls, to help people dive deeper. And it's been actually a couple sessions where people said, why did you wait till the end to sing? It wasn't until you sang that I finally relaxed. And
mm,
I'm like, wow, I guess I should sing a little bit more. So I think there's just been this constant validation that when you sing, you need to you need to keep doing this.
mhm,
I think I've
Hmm.
had a love-hate relationship with my voice where sometimes, especially for the time where I wasn't singing a lot, I didn't really like the tone of my voice. So I
mhm,
didn't want to sing. But then when you get that validation of, people, but again, it's not the validation of, oh, you're such a great singer. It's like, no, your
mm.
voice helped me relax.
Yeah, it's
So I'm
Hmm.
the
like,
validation of the
oh,
right path.
yes, so it's like,
Mhm,
oh,
Yeah.
so this is so deep. This is so much deeper. It's not about how many runs I can do, or, can I do the world's best scat, or like, all
mhm,
these things that we try to do as vocalists to impress other people with our skills. It's more so, okay, how can this be this vocal vibration to assist with soothing people and
Yeah.
creating a space for their healing? So yeah, this last holiday, I released a version of Silent Night with just me and the singing bowls. There's no
mhm.
other instruments. So it's just the singing bowls, my voice, and then I created some like really angelic harmonies over top to really create this full experience since there wasn't anything else but the bowls and my voice. So that's kind of the path that
That's
I'm
so beautiful.
exploring more. Thank you.
I
Yes, thank you.
love that. So really quick, just as like a super quick synopsis, I know people are going to wonder, especially if this is their first exposure to bowls specifically.
Mm,
Can you share a little bit about the history of these in general? Like, where do sound bowls come from? What are their origins? Just so
yeah.
people have a little bit of background there.
Yes. I love this conversation because I feel like so many people are so confident when they talk about this.
Hmm.
There's still so much we do not know.
Mhm.
The more that I look into the traditional Himalayan bowls, because those would be the most ancient,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard them referred to as Tibetan bowls, but I've
Yeah.
since stopped calling them Tibetan bowls because as I was doing more research to find out the history, because as someone that does not ever wish to culturally appropriate, I want to make sure I'm doing justice
Hmm.
to the culture that came before me. So as I'm dealing with the the history, there are Tibetan scholars that are saying they have no idea what singing bowls are. So they're like, stop calling them Tibetan singing bowls. They don't belong to us. So then that kind of shifted from, okay, well, calling them a Tibetan singing bowl is not a politically
Hmm.
correct or just not correct in general um, title for these bowls. So as we did more research, it was finding out that these bowls were created in the Himalayan regions. It seems like it's more specifically on the Nepal side rather than
Hmm.
Tibet, because the bowls that I specifically have, the Himalayan ones I have, they were made in Tibet. Like I saw that when they arrived, that they were produced in Tibet. Um, so they're said to be comprised of the seven sacred metals and alloys of the Himalayan mountains. And
Mm,
it's theorized that these singing bowls were kept in the lower level of monasteries and not accessible to the general public, which would then explain why a lot of people from that area don't know what they are. So I
Hmm.
think there's still so much more that needs to be discovered because there is not a lot of written history about these singing bowls. They just appeared as they
Hmm.
were bringing over a lot of these Eastern philosophies over to the West in like the 40s and 50s. The singing bowls made its way here. So,
Hmm.
I'm still going to be keeping up to date with this, but it's kind of like all we really know. The singing bowls are said to have been used for centuries in these traditions and in this area of the world as a healing modality and a way to assist with meditation, which we see from the science that yes,
Hmm.
it gets us to those meditative states of consciousness and gets us to that place where
Hmm.
our body's healing systems are able to be activated. So it seems like that would be spot on that they were used for centuries in this way. But again, there's no there's not much written history to
Yeah.
really conclude that this is true. So
Hmm.
there's still a lot of mystery surrounding the Himalayan singing bowls. There are other instruments similar to a
Hmm.
singing bowl that you find in these Buddhist traditions. For example, one is the rin. The rin almost just looks like a large bell, but it's not the exact shape of a singing bowl. And they would use that to like ring like right before a meditation or after a
Yeah.
meditation. It's not used in the way that these singing bowls are used today.
Hmm. I have seen
Um,
Mm.
those. Yeah.
yeah, yes, yeah. So, and that's just one of many. There's different bells and other instruments that were used in ancient times. It's just the singing bowls are just really mysterious. But
Hmm.
I
so
kind of
this,
love that.
right,
Right? I think they want to be.
they want to be, they want to be. So another thing that's really cool because I kind of learned this more recently. So the crystal singing bowls, the ones that I have, so the white frosted quartz crystal singing bowls did not come to be until the 1980s. And how they
Mm.
came to be was in Silicon Valley, they were
Mm,
using crystal for computer chips.
yes.
And right, so there was an accident one day, and someone had the idea, why don't we create this into a singing bowl? And then boom, this market appeared for crystal singing bowls from the tech industry. Like who would have
I
thought? From
love
Wow.
computer
that.
chips to a singing bowl. And then since then, in 2000, there was this company, Crystal Tones, that was established, and they create these alchemy crystal singing bowls. So the singing bowls I have, they're great. They work amazingly, but the alchemy crystal bowls are on
Mm-hmm.
another level. So they take the quartz, turn it into a singing bowl, and then infuse it with different gemstones and create these alchemies. So in one bowl, there could be rose quartz, amethyst, and gold in one singing bowl, and they go for like 2000
That sounds like a lot, but
I was just gonna be like,
really
that's
pretty.
not. I
Okay.
want to look it up those. I must see what they look
Oh,
like.
Oh, they are gorgeous and they are top of the line when it comes to the
mm,
sound. Like you can sing it and let go, and some of the bowls will literally ring for upwards of 5 minutes after. Like the more expensive ones, like the super grade bowls, like they're super big and they ring forever, and it's yeah, high quality stuff. So there's
mhm.
been quite an
Ooh,
evolution of the singing bowls throughout the years.
Yeah.
they're gorgeous, and
Right?
everything about them screams so much money.
Hey, but you know what? You know what, y'all? We are abundant, okay?
Mhm.
We are
They
all
will find their
good.
way to you in whatever means they need to if they are supposed to be in your space.
Absolutely, Ashe.
I mean, I love them. They're gorgeous,
Hmm.
but like, whoo, yeah, those look like
Yeah.
they're gonna rock you.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
beautiful. They're very beautiful. I did and this was even like a virtual session. There's this guy that owns the sound healing studio in Los Angeles, and he did a free virtual sound bath for the lives that had lost their homes in the fires recently in Los Angeles.
Nice.
And just the virtual session alone, he has the alchemy bowls. I've never dropped so deep in a meditation before. So I can't even imagine experiencing
Wow.
them live and in person. Like amazing.
That sounds incredible.
I live in California and I must go.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
I'll
sure
be
you
out
can
there in a month
find.
or so.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I did just want to say when you touched on Silicon Valley, just because I live relatively close to there and have been there. My dad was actually raised in Silicon Valley. The energy there is a wild experience in general. There is so much like raw creative Like it's not a shock to me on an energetic space just purely that that's where people gathered to create new technology. Like that is not surprising. And to hear that like yeah, these crystal bowls come out of it too. I was like, of course they did. It's such
Hmm.
it's like the best clay you've ever felt. Like that's the way the energy feels. Where you're like, I can make
Hmm.
whatever I want out of this.
Mm.
So it's just kind of validating to hear that. I'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen that energy. It
Right.
is magic.
The energy of
And I'm
alchemy,
glad it made
truly.
magic, right?
Yeah.
Glad it actually created magic from there too, and not just phones. That's great.
That's
Yep,
really
that's
cool.
beautiful. Yeah, that's a good perspective. I never thought of it
Mhm,
that way, but that, yeah, that makes a lot of
Hmm.
sense.
mhm. So you
Awesome.
did bring your bowls, and you're going to do a
Yeah.
little sample for us on the podcast. Are you ready to dive into that? Does that sound good?
Yes, I'm ready. I
Yay.
just need to do just a little adjusting. So
Okay.
I didn't whip out all of them, but I'm gonna deal with so the chakras, right? The main
Hmm.
seven,
Yeah.
and then that last do re mi fa sol la ti. Oh. So
Perfect.
we'll do the eight bowl. So
Mhm.
for those that are like interested in this, right? So they align with the chakras, according to the Vedic philosophy. So C, middle C being the root chakra, going up to the crown chakra, which is B, but then that
Hmm.
high C is
Yeah.
said to be called the soul star chakra. If
Seen
people
that.
Mm,
with that one. Yeah, so that one
Hmm.
is just above the crown. So it's like actually not even in the physical body anymore. It's above. But they say
Hmm.
that that is connecting us to our higher purpose and connects us even more so with the ethereal heavenly realms. So
All right.
we're dealing
amazing.
with the eight chakra system today.
Yes.
Love
Sounds
that.
good. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for sharing your talent with us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. That was so fun. I love learning, and I feel like I learned so much.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
Yeah.
This has been wonderful.
Yeah.
So where can people get more of your music? Where can they follow you? Like what places do you be at? Are you doing it? Where are you doing your next healing so people can go there? Like all the stuff.
Yes, yes. So I'm currently servicing the East Coast right now.
Mm.
I do have big dreams and a mission to travel the country and even beyond, and share these frequencies. But for now, I'm here on the East Coast. So you can find me at my website, iamjameslamar.com. I'm also on social media. So Instagram is iam.jameslamar. Same with Facebook, facebook.com/iam.jameslamar.
Mhm.
Same thing for TikTok, same handle. So
Mhm.
those would be the main spaces you can find me online. As far as some gatherings coming up, I have some gatherings happening in Jersey and Delaware and Washington,
Nice.
D.C. And then I also have some stuff in Pennsylvania. So if you just go to my website, iamjameslamar.com, and go to the events page, you'll
Yeah.
be able to see all of the future public group events that will be happening.
Mhm.
Fantastic. James, you're the best. It's so good to see you. Like so
Yes.
good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We so appreciate it.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was
Yeah.
lovely. Any opportunity I get to talk about these sounds is always a joy for me. So to
Yeah.
have you both here in the space is just made it more joyful. So thank you.
Oh, it's so great.
Absolutely. You're real good at it too. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. It's really, really nice to have you talk about the sounds. Um,
Thank you.
Well,
awesome. Well, listeners, we hope that you've enjoyed this as well. Thank you so much for being here, for listening to that. Oh, do you have Spotify or anything of such nature
I do,
for
yes.
your
So
stuff?
right
Okay.
now, my Spotify is a little lacking. I'm going to be working on some more material, but as of now, I do have a couple of selections on there, and it's just under James Lamar.
Mhm.
I
Perfect.
believe if I'm not the only one, there may be one other one, but yeah, you'll
I found you
see.
by James Lamar.
Yeah, James
Yeah.
Lamar. I have Meditative Soundscape, Crystal
Mhm.
Singing Bowls, My Silent Night, and 432 Hertz is on there. Then I have a couple other songs when
Yeah.
I was doing more like pop
I say,
R&B stuff. So
unfortunately, I don't think Alive and Free is on there.
no, Alive and Free is not on there. I never gained full rights to that song, so I
Mm,
was not even able to release it. So,
gotcha.
but
Okay.
maybe
Well, it
on
lives
like
on in
a
my heart.
exactly there you go.
Okay, cool. I just know that people are going to want to listen to more of your stuff, so I want to make sure
Hmm.
to funnel people in that direction.
Thank
But listeners, we hope that you take all of this magical energy that James has created and that you, one, two, three, go
Go
make
make
some
some
magic.
magic. It
Woo!
was good on my end. I'm taking it. It was in
Yeah,
sync.
sure.